Hey everyone, Corey here, and today I want to talk to you about my 5 tips to help with low back pain while you're playing drums. The reason I feel like I need to share this information is because I recently experienced a very severe herniated disc in my lower back, as well as have experienced some pain in my SI joint on the right side of my lower back for years now. Sometimes that SI joint pain will bother me when I'm playing drums at the drum kit. And so these are 5 tips that I recently learned in the last 14 weeks that can help you kind of alleviate some of that pain while you're playing drums. Now, please remember, I'm not a health professional either, so you should always consult with your doctor, back specialist, or even a physical therapist if you are experiencing back pain. It's a very serious injury. It's not something that you should really mess around with. Okay, so let's dive right into it. So tip number 1 is your drum throne or drum seat height should be at a healthy level. And what I mean by that is not too low or too high. You want your drum throne height to put your legs at about a 90-degree angle when you're sitting at the pedals of your drum kit, and then even just slightly above a 90-degree angle. So 90 degrees or slightly above. I tend to go slightly above. I feel like when I'm at a 90-degree angle, it's a little too low for me. If you go lower than that, you start to kind of pinch that lower back area, and that's where things can kind of hurt a little bit more while you're playing. And if you go too high, where you're almost like standing at the drum kit, that can kind of put some pressure on your back as well. So you want to be at a healthy level with your drum throne and height of your drum throne. Now, there's also some drum thrones out there you can buy that are specifically for low back pain. The one I use is a Carmichael drum throne. They're a little more expensive, but I do believe in investing in your health, in your body, and in your hobbies. So that's the one I recommend. There's one as well, I believe by Alesis, that you can buy too. And you're looking for the drum thrones that have this open like cutout in the middle of them and the cushions, and I'll put a video clip or photo here so you can see what I'm talking about. It has it in the middle there, and that's gonna alleviate some of the pressure in your tailbone and your lower back area. Tip number 2 that I have for you today is your pedals, your hi-hat pedal and your kick pedal. Now, your kick pedal can't obviously go anywhere but the kick drum. We know that. So you want to try to get your hi-hat pedal to be as close as you can so that your legs aren't super wide apart while you're playing drums. When your legs get too wide apart and you have to kind of hold that position, that can really mess with your hips. And one thing I've learned with my injuries is that my hips are in terrible shape, and part of it could be from playing drums for so long and just other things in life, but your hips can really pull on those back muscles and start to cause injuries. So try to keep your legs at a very neutral position when you sit down at the kit. I'll put a clip here of how mine are adjusted. Now, obviously, you don't want the hi-hat pedal to be too close to the snare drum, or your leg will be like touching or squeezing the snare drum, and you don't really want that. My legs are about 1 inch apart from my snare on each side. Now, this is going to be more of a challenge for metal drummers and people that are using double kick pedals, because that extends the hi-hat out even farther. And so if you do have that, just try to be as careful as you can. You know, at the end of the day, you just don't want to try to be like reaching for all of your pedals and then putting that pressure and stuff on your hips. Tip number 3 that I have for you, and you might find this a little bit funny, but it's actually true, is you don't always want to have super good posture while you're playing drums. You don't want to be upright and too stiff at the drum kit. Because when you extend your back like that, your lumbar area, it puts a lot of pressure down there. And then especially when you start striking things and turning a little bit, you're gonna crank your back in places it doesn't wanna go. And so overextending that back for long periods of time, that can actually hurt you and be really painful for injuries. What I recommend is relaxing at the drum kit, letting your back kind of slouch a little bit into a natural curve down there. And just relax, because also when you're upright and your posture's too good, your playing's not going to be as good either. So when you relax, your drum grooves and drum beats are going to sound better, and your back's not going to have all that pressure that you're trying to put on it when you extend up. Which this leads to tip number 4, and that's just relax at the drum kit while you're playing, and especially focus when you're striking the drum. If you're striking a drum and your back is tensing up while you hit it and it hurts, that means you probably have some kind of injury or like muscle soreness. So just be careful and mindful of that. You want to be relaxed, and when you're striking the drum, you don't want to be feeling any tense or anything in your back. And tip number 5, which has actually helped me the most when dealing with my SI joint pain on the right side, is your floor tom height. You want your floor tom to match the height of your snare drum, which is a pretty common thing for drummers when you're setting your drum kit up. But for me, for many years, I would set my floor tom height a little lower than my snare drum and try to angle it. And what I found, and you can go back and watch old videos of me doing this, is when I would turn to play tom grooves or play a fill and go to the tom over here, I was having to compensate like this and lower and shift all the weight to my right side of my back. And that was really putting pressure on that SI joint area. So recently, after my injury, I discovered, okay, well, if I raise this floor tom up and even sometimes slightly above the snare drum height, when I turn, I'm right here. My body can just turn and not have to lower. Just turn and not lower. So you don't want all that pressure on that SI joint, because trust me, the pain, it hurts after a while, and you just don't want to put your back in that position. So these are the 5 tips that have helped me when dealing with my back injuries and playing the drums. Again, consult your doctor, consult a physical therapist, a professional, as always. I've been going to a physical therapist for about 7 weeks now, and it's tremendously helped me to get down a stretch routine, to get exercises going daily, to just loosen up the back and make sure that those muscles are strong before I sit and play at the drum kit. I hope these tips have been helpful for you, and if you are experiencing any back pain, hang in there, because it does get better. Take care of yourself, take care of your body. And if you have any tips that you found helpful with back pain while playing drums that I haven't mentioned today, please drop them in a comment below. We can start a healthy conversation, an educational conversation, to help other drummers in the community out there. Thank you guys for watching. As always, I'll see you in the next video. Bye.